Hey, all you wonderful people, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty, giving you my June 28th, 2023 weekly comic book review. So sit back and enjoy. All right, all of you amazing, great people. For those of you that are unfamiliar, I give you a review and a quick summary of an issue here, and I give a score of 0 through 10. 10 being fantastic, 7 being norm, like 70%. You're also going to hear some noises here in the background because I do these sort of a live cut, unedited for the most part. You hear my papers rattle around with my notes, and I also use League of Comic Geeks to give their take on books as well compared to mine. But don't just take my word for it, too. Check them out for yourself. Tell me what your thoughts are on these comic books. Did you think I was wrong? Do you think I was right? Or hey, whatever it is, just go ahead and share. My first one I'm going to talk about is Amazing Spider-Man number 28. League of Comics Geeks said 63 out of 78 liked it. Now here is something I think is astonishing. If you will, before this book was getting around 200 plus people responding of their views on this website. To drop down to 63 out of 78 shows that the numbers have dropped significantly, meaning that probably a lot less people are reading this book because let's be honest, the writer Zeb Wells has done a terrible job on this series, really aggravating the readers. Of course, supporters like Dan Slott and stuff will say it doesn't impact anything. Yes, it does. People care about their characters, and when you dump on them so long and do so much damage, people aren't going to read. Though with that said, I do think the story has had an uptick. And Ed McGuinness's artwork is pretty good on this as well. The book got a 3.6 average rating on League of Comics Geeks. I gave it a 7 or 7.01. Here's the thing. I know J. Jonah Jameson has changed a bit too, but boy, is he written out of character in this. And I know they give an explanation of why. It really was just silly. Solid art. Once again, I think there's an uptick in this, and it's probably because they didn't screw with Mary Jane in this issue. Yeah, that whole backstory with that has just been absolutely horrific, and I think it's turned off a lot of fans. This is a pretty fun issue. I have to say, it's definitely an improvement. Not going to say it's time to jump on the Amazing Spider-Man bandwagon just yet, because let's be honest, this writer has done so much damage. It's hard to believe that he can continue and actually produce something that's, well, let's be honest, that we're going to enjoy. My next one was Avengers Beyond number 4. 9 out of 10 liked it, showing me that not a lot of people are probably getting this series. Yeah, with a 3.9 average rating, I gave it a 7.1. Anyway, the Lost One stalks our world, and Beyonder watches from orbit. And what he did is he actually trapped the Avengers, as well as the people trying to get him, in order to protect his own hide. And Derek Landy wrote this. Art is done by Greg Land. And if you know what Greg Land is, and then you understand his tracing style, especially faces, that's not going to be lost in here. It's still the same Greg Land art style. But otherwise, I actually don't mind his art. As I said, the face is a little wonky with his tracing in some situations, but it is what it is. It's an interesting story, and it had good action. I gave it a 7.1. Nothing super special to run to the shop about that you absolutely have to get. My next one might be a little controversial with some people, and that's Captain America, Symbol of Truth, number 14. Once again, I like to make sure everybody understands my point of view. I am a Sam Wilson fan. I don't want him as Captain America. I like him as the Falcon. Matter of fact, let him keep the shield. Have him keep a shield like that. Updated costume is fine. I'm okay with that. But they sit there and try to make him Captain America to match movies and things like that, or just make it something like that. It's sort of, I don't know. It's some people go, well, there's Flash teams. Yeah, that's a family. There's Green Lantern Corps. Captain America is a one-person thing to me. 24 out of 25 liked on League of Comics Geeks with a 4.2 average rating, where I gave it a 7.15. Cold War Aftermath. Fresh from the battle with Bucky Barnes and the White Wolf, Sam Wilson returns home to Harlem with battle scars and a renewed sense of focus. With Misty Knight by his side, he sets out to forge a new path and maybe reunite with some old friends along the way. You know, I like this. It was solid art. It had a nice story. It's nice getting the backstory more of Sam and his fans. And you know what? I like Misty Knight with Iron Fist, but I do think she fits well with Sam as well. It does really work out. Tochi Mochi, which I'm sorry, I just completely obliterated that name, wrote this. And the art was Z. Carlos. Really not bad. 7.15. I did enjoy this issue. As I said, well, they don't have him beating up Steve Rogers, which makes absolutely no sense because he could have never done that. This is more grounded and made more sense. I like it. Good job on that one. The next one I read was Daredevil Echo issue number 2. 19 of 19 liked it, so this mini probably isn't selling really well with a 4.0 average rating, and I gave the book a 7.05. We have An Ancient Evil is Born Again, and this is an issue that I maybe have a little bit with Daredevil. They like to have him go a little too far in the, how do I put it, in the sorcery, and I like him street level. Let's put it that way. I tend to like him street level, but they do like to do stories with him with Mephisto and things like that, and they've done it in the past. Those are usually the ones that I don't care about as much. And we have a demonic Demogoblin in this, which is pretty cool too as well. The writer was Taboo, as well as B. Earl, and the artist was Phil Noto. And, well, I have mixed feelings on that. I would say that, well, the story didn't really go very far on this, though it's giving an interesting backstory. The art is decent, but not great. I do say it's an interesting story, so I'm going to give it that. Spoiler here, we do get an appearance from Ghost Rider. I really, really think Marvel's doing something with Ghost Rider, because they have been putting him in other books. They've given Danny Ketch's own series, Johnny Blaze's own series. They pushed the other Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes, for a while in the Avengers. I think they're gearing up to do something again with the Ghost Rider. They might be testing it out in the books to see how it's doing, and we'll just have to see where that goes. And speaking of seeing where it goes, I'm going to talk about that more in just a little bit when I review the Ghost Rider book. Before they do that, though, I want to talk about Deadpool number 8. 25 out of 25 liked it with a 4.4 average rating on League of Comics Geeks. I gave it an 8 out of 10. No, I didn't. I gave it a 7.04 out of 10. Not quite that good. Their ratings were a lot higher than mine. Let me know if you've been reading Deadpool, if you think it's higher. It says, can't a merc get a break? Deadpool is once again fighting for his life when all he wants to do is retire, have a nice time with his daughter, and be completely cured of cancer. Is that too much to ask? Yes, of course it is. The writer is Alyssa Wong and artist Luigi Zaguera. And I think this is a good art, and it's your normal silly Deadpool. So if you like your silly Deadpool, you'll probably like this. And yeah, how do I put this? It is a silly ride, though I have to say it goes a little more on the love dimension. And I think you get that with female writers. I'm not trying to be sexist here, okay? But they tend to focus on that kind of thing of the story a little bit more than male writers do with Deadpool. But, it's okay. It's an okay book. Nothing I would run to the store to get. But if you're a Deadpool fan, you'd probably be all right with this book. All right, now let's talk about that topic I was gleaning at before, and that's about Ghost Rider. We had Ghost Rider number 15, which I gave this book an 8 out of 10. That's a good solid score for me, and 18 out of 18 liked it with a 4.1 average rating. Now, there's the thing right there. 18 out of 18. It seems to me that the sales have went down on this book, which is a shame, because I think this is another solid issue in the series with good art and good story. And this is a good series for any Ghost Rider fan. I think you should be checking this out. Inferno Labs has successfully siphoned the spirit of Danny Ketch in order to power this these demonic experiments from this lady here, this doctor, because she's trying to save her brother. And now it's up to Johnny to save his brother, Danny Ketch, because they consider them Ghost Rider brothers, in a close and fiery portal to hell before it's too late. And I like this because this book doesn't always have a happy ending. It doesn't, you don't save everybody. It's a dark book. Benjamin Percy, the writer, does a good job. The artist, Corey Smith, did a good job. Everybody did, I think, a good job in this. It's been a solid series. If you are a Ghost Rider fan, you should be absolutely getting this. If you're not, if you don't know much and you want to dabble in Ghost Rider, this is a good one to check out. I really do not think that you're going to be disappointed. Now, the next one I read was She-Hulk number 14. I gave it a 7 out of 10. 31 out of 32 liked it, though, on League of Comics Geeks with a 4.4 average rating, so they gave it a higher score than I do. First of all, I'm not necessarily a fan of this art style, but it is good and it's growing on me. I think what it is maybe it's not the art itself. Maybe it's the coloring or whatever. It just always seems a little flat in the coloring, a little simplistic, and I think it'd be doing better otherwise. But who knows whose job it is to do that. But for some reason it is growing on me. I think the cover is cute, nothing special that make me go, man, I have to have this issue. But at least we're not getting this raging roid-filled She-Hulk version. We're getting a more of a She-Hulk version that we enjoy. The secret history of the scoundrel is revealed in this issue, and the cool, as they say, the coolest new villain of 2023. No, he's not nearly the coolest villain. Well, maybe of 2023, because what kind of villains have we gotten that were any good this year? But he's nothing special in that regard. But it's sort of an interesting issue written by Rainbow Rao and artist Andres. I can't even pronounce his name there. But anyway, we do learn more about the mystery villain. It seems, but here's the thing. It seems like this is a whole thing that Reed Richards would be smart enough to figure out this entire situation. I'm sorry, but Reed Richards is super smart. He should be able to figure out what the heck is going on here. How is the Fantastic Four oblivious and in the dark in this storyline? And yes, we've got a love triangle kind of issue here. We've got She-Hulk with Jack of Hearts, but the not being able to touch, which we've seen this before, is driving a wedge between them. And then we've got this new character. For some reason, there seems to be some kind of will they, won't they love connection. It's okay. It's not the worst thing I've read. What are your thoughts? I'd like to know your thoughts on that She-Hulk. And speaking of thoughts and green things, let's talk about Green Arrow number 3. Yeah, Green Arrow number 3, this mini, 144 out of 154 liked it with a 4.0 average rating on League of Comics Geeks, and I think that tells you a lot. People want some Green Arrow. I gave this book a 7.4, which is commendable. Arsenal and Black Canary versus Peacemaker, and yeah, a new female Peacemaker. While Arsenal and Black Canary's quest for answers has sent them into danger, Green Arrow is lost in time and space. So what can they do? Well, read the story and check it out. I think this is one that you're going to like. Written by Joshua Williamson, art by Sean, I'm sorry, I can't say it. Once again, I mean no offense, I just can't pronounce names. I think it's solid art. It's a bit of a slow story progression in this issue, though, but it's really not bad. And if you are a fan of Green Arrow, you probably should be getting this. I would strongly recommend it. Give Green Arrow his own book. I think he's proven time and time again that he can sell books and that he deserves it. But what are you thinking? Do you think Green Arrow should have his own book? Should it be a team book with a lot of the other family members helping support it? I wouldn't be against that. Green Arrow's got a good family dynamic. Why not use that for a background cast to make a strong background cast and add more depth? All right, the last book, and yeah, the least, is Tim Drake, Robin number 10. 32 out of 54 liked it, surprising me that many people voted on it with a 3 average rating. Yeah, that's like a 7. I gave this book, though, a 5.5. Now, I know people are going to be mad at me and call me all kinds of names for that. If anybody's been following this channel has known for many, many years, before even this, I am a Tim Drake Robin fan. I've been reading him since day one. Robin and Batwoman are trapped in their lair of chaos monsters. Will they be able to escape with their sanity intact? It is written by Megan Martin, which is notoriously bad for ruining books, and artist Nicola Sisma. I can't say that name. Sorry. Once again, the art in this book is not good at all. It is crap. Okay, for that said, too, the writer clearly, Megan, does not understand this history of this character. I'm sorry, but it's just silly. When Tim Drake Robin's going through his mental dialogue, and he's saying, I never wanted to be Robin. Baloney. He wanted to be Robin. Ball! He wanted Batman not to be alone. Yeah, they mentioned that. He was never forced to be Robin. He chose to be Robin. I hate how they take the character's agency away from them. They made this decision. This character said, hey, Batman cannot be alone. Somebody needs to do it. I'm going to step up and do it. Give this character some credit for that, but no, they took that away from him. Tim is written just so far out of character throughout this whole issue. Tim Drake is very, very smart, a brilliant tactician, probably the best detective, maybe surpassing Batman. Yeah, Batman will probably think that himself, but yet he's thinking, well, I need help to get out of this situation. Come on. This issue makes him look dumb, and that's just a shame. This book really needed to end. Thank goodness it is, because Megan Fitzmartin has done nothing but to destroy this character, making the character really a one-note character all about his sexuality, and then everything based on that and how it's changed his life is absolute malarkey. If you can look and in one picture, in one issue, you can see Tim Drake and Stephanie together and go, wow. And just with a few words and a few bubbles and one or two panels, you go, this is a couple that should stay together. This is amazing and better than anything we've gotten in the last 10 issues in Tim Drake's own book. I think that ought to say a lot. This book needed to end. This book was garbage. Come on now, DC, let's do something to help shake up the DC universe and get Tim Drake back to where he was. Bring him back with Stephanie, for where the majority, yes, the majority, I think sales and response has proven that. Much proof him with Stephanie Brown over being with his best friend, Bernard, which never had any sexual connotation before in the many, many issues in history of Tim Drake Robin. Once again, these are my thoughts, not yours. If you have different opinions, go ahead and let me know in the chat, but I will call you out on them. If you tell me dumb things like Bernard and Tim Drake is much more deep a relationship and 10 times more interesting, I'm going to ask you why. And I'm going to tell you what, it seems like every time I ask that question, I get crickets because there is no response for that answer because you don't know the character at all. You never read the character most likely, or maybe you did. Right? I've had somebody claim they did, and, well, it didn't really look like they did, to be honest from you. They didn't support their answers, but hey, maybe they will, and maybe you'll change my mind, because I'm not open. I mean, I'm not open. I am open for suggestions and in conversation. That's one of the things that makes the comic book world good. We can disagree and still enjoy the hobby together. So let's go join together, have some fun, leave your thoughts in the comments. I greatly look forward to it. And you are all wonderful. And until next time, I think you know the drill. You know what's up next. Are you ready? Keep it frugal. And have a blessed day, everybody.